In the near future, most of our meat will be produced by plant, not by man. Now we are having so much animal meat, but this will be past. As the future changes, Beyond Meat changes the future. Now, welcome to Beyond Meat Mondays. So let's run through today's topic of Beyond Meat Mondays episode, maybe the most extensive series here to Beyond Meat stock and company in the whole internet. Obviously, we will talk about the stock and its movements. The recently gain, it's just absolutely insane, and this has a couple of reasons. The next point that we will talk about is the competition of Beyond Meat, because they are not sleeping. Moreover, we will talk about the plant-based meat market, how huge it is, how far it can grow, what does the future for Beyond Meat look like. Moreover, we will talk about the real meat shortage that is currently done because of the health crisis that is going on globally. And last but not least, the Q2 earnings will be staggering. So let's move into the vlog. And if you're looking into the stock, we see that this week was a plus-minus week. Now we gained about 1%, and the current market cap of Beyond Meat is $8.35 billion, guys. This is huge. This is one of the recent highs, because since the earnings, the stock just went stellar. If you are looking into the recent lows, which was around 17th of March, $54 per share, and we grow 135% almost to a new high. But this is not the highest that the Beyond Meat stock ever was at, because we was at $235 per share on 25th of July. So basically, we can say that the stock is still very volatile. Now, this is because of the recent earnings and the overall market recovery. This is why Beyond Meat went so high just recently. But the next milestones for the stock is definitely to see how it will perform in the broader market. The broader market will be very decisive in the next couple of weeks because of several issues. Now we are at a very high valuation, not only for Beyond Meat, but also for other stocks, and they didn't give us guidance for Q2, so this is usually not a good sign, which should bring the stock and also other stocks for the down. Now let's not forget that we are currently having tremendous help by the US government that is buying corporate debt and pumping lots and lots of money into the system, which helps the market to stay afloat for a very interesting value. Now, if this wouldn't be enough, there are some other good news for Beyond Meat. Let's have a look. Let's talk about competition. Now, for my personal view, there is one big competition there, and this is Impossible Foods, because Impossible Foods is the only other food manufacturer that is specialized as almost similar the same products as Beyond Meat, and it's the other upstarter that is there out there. Unfortunately for Impossible Foods, they have two things that is being currently a disadvantage. And obviously there's so many people out there that will say, there's other food companies that are producing Beyond Meat type products as well. I totally agree. I know them all. I study them all, but I want to keep as simple as possible and show you the core, most important message, what I believe that Beyond Meat will succeed or can succeed, because there's obviously no guarantee. So therefore, I believe there's two big things here. First of all, we have seen that the people like to focus on companies that are having the innovation as a core product. So think about it this way. Imagine you have Daimler or BMW that having the internal combustion engine and the electric car is just like an add-on, right? And then you have Tesla, which is focusing on the innovation. So electric car is the focus, but then they have also self-driving, they have also digitalization of the car, they have also batteries and solar and so on. So all these future technologies. And while Daimler still focuses on electric, they cannot focus 100% on that, which gives them a disadvantage to being in the speed of development. And this is the same that Beyond Meat has against the big corporations that having maybe a department of plant-based food. Beyond Meat can focus wholly as a whole company on this. Now, we have seen that Impossible Food is doing the same, and they have, also big clients like, for example, Burger King. However, there's one big difference. Beyond Meat is doing something right, and they are doing the scaling right. And if you're seeing what the CEO and founder Ethan Brown is doing, he wants to scale as fast as possible. He sees that the future is plant-based meat, and therefore he wants to scale it as soon as possible. He wants to have plants around the world. He have to have partners to make this product, to manufacturers, packet it, and so on and so forth. So this is very important for Beyond Meat in the future. So as you can see, the first games are being won because of that. There wasn't apparently deal or fight for McDonald's as a client between Impossible Foods and Beyond Meat. But Beyond Meat was able to have the capacity to produce so many patties of their burgers that Impossible Food just, had to reject because they were not able to serve them. So you see how scalability is the number one important point in my point to bring this forward. You see the same in Tesla and other growth companies who are scaling as fast as possible, can go out as a main winner. Moreover, people that I want to just invest into this business, this innovative business of plant-based meat, can invest into Beyond Meat. And we have seen how big of an interest it's out there when people are always pushing the stock in the first couple of weeks to very incredible highs for Beyond Meat. We saw that people are able and willing to spend $234 for one stock, and I think this is just the beginning. As I said in my other video, I think Beyond Meat will be a $1,000 stock. So therefore, I think this is very, very important, and that's the advantages of Beyond Meat for the overall investor. Let's talk market size. Market size could be almost $30 billion in 2025. Now, this is an estimation by 2019, where the overall market was estimated to be $13 billion. Now, just to compare, last quarter, Beyond Meat just did $100 million in revenue, and therefore you see how much potential there is. And moreover, this is pre-health crisis, okay? And now I want to quote something by Microsoft earnings call. In the Microsoft earnings call, they said that the overall digitalization was brought forward 2 years. Now, if I just take this assumption into also the food industry, which is also heavily affected by the health crisis, then we should reach the $30 billion market 2 years earlier by 2023. So therefore, I believe this is a high growth market. The average growth is to be expected to be at 15%. Well, I think this is highly unrated, especially in these times. Things are changing, guys. I think if you have a product that is at least the same taste, it uses 99% less water, 95% less land, and there is so many facts out there that is saying, the estrogen that is coming out of those soya beans, that is growing you man breasts because it's such a female growth hormone. Well, guess what? This is the competition of Beyond Meat. They are using soy. Beyond Meat don't use soy. So this is an advantage of Beyond Meat, just one of them. So you see the high growth market for Beyond Meat just started. And therefore I believe that today you might invest into a overvalued growth stock, highly growth stock. We are talking about 140% year-over-year revenue growth, and a market that is just starting. And guys, I'm actually not a vegan at all. I'm not a huge fan of, I'm going for this and this product because it sounds better, right? I do care about our environment. I think that in the end, it comes down to taste because it's a food product. So if Beyond Meat makes a product that tastes better, and with scaling economics will be also cheaper and easier to produce and environment friendly, then there is no way that you will buy real meat in the future. I don't know if you know, but the plants that produce meat are heavily affected by this health crisis. This leads to shortage of real meat around the world. Burgers are getting more expensive. Your meat that you are buying in your supermarket will be more and more affected. This is obviously giving Beyond Meat a huge push, and is also one reason of the push for the stock. And I think this is like same in the digitalization space, where more and more pushed to digitalization earlier than expected. I think the same happens now for plant-based meat. So watch out for that. Beyond Meat is on the run. And as an investor, you always have to think also, okay, what was negative about, or what is negative about this company? And I found one thing that is quite interesting: the Q2 guidance. Now, as we know, companies are currently suspending the guidance for Q2, obviously because it will be devastating. It will be very, very bad, guys. And therefore also I think, if you are asking myself, when I talked about the stock the very first time and went into it, here a small flashback. Because as you might know, I started to invest into the revolutionizing plant-based meat company Beyond Meat. Then I always want to buy more, but then the price went down. I had to rearrange my portfolio, and now I'm waiting on the sidelines to buy even more stocks of Beyond Meat. But the current prices obviously are a little bit inflated, considering the Q2, which will be maybe not so good. Think about all the restaurants that are usually serving the beautiful and tasty Beyond Meat burgers. Unfortunately, this will not happen, and maybe we shall see the Q2 also not so successful like it was in Q1, and therefore this could be a driver, especially for these growth stocks that are very volatile, to go down, to give us another option and possibility to load up this tasty stock.